Welcome back to Mimi's Organic Eats. Today we're making small batch honey butter cinnamon rolls. This one rye cinnamon roll recipe is egg-free and it only makes 4 cinnamon rolls. So if you guys are a small family like me and Delaney are, we don't need to have 8 or 12 cinnamon rolls sitting around because they're just gonna go stale before we have time to eat them all. So this recipe for 4 cinnamon rolls is the perfect fix. I also add in honey for a super light flavor. Let me show you guys how to make them. So I'm doing this in my stand mixer for ease, but if you guys want to mix this by hand, you can totally do that as well. So we have 5 grams of instant yeast in our stand mixing bowl. Now I'm using instant yeast because I love that it rises faster, and I like to buy the organic instant yeast. I have a harder time finding the organic active dry yeast. And so if you guys only have the active dry yeast, you can use that as well. You just want to make sure that you look for visual signs that the dough is ready to move on to the next stage. Next, we're just going to add in half a teaspoon of cane sugar. And then next we're adding in 2 tablespoons of warm water. And now you want to make sure your water is warm and not hot. If water is too hot, it can actually kill yeast. So if you're wondering why your cinnamon rolls didn't rise and your water was really hot, that could be the culprit. So if you guys have a hot water dispenser in your kitchen, you don't want to actually use that whenever mixing it with yeast because that can actually kill your yeast. You just want to grab a little bit of warm water right from the sink. And now we're just going to let this sit for a few minutes just to ensure that the yeast is bubbly. This is just going to let us know that our yeast is good and fresh and it's not gone bad. So while the yeast is sitting here for a minute, we're going to add in our butter, milk, and honey into a small pot. So I have 28 grams of salted butter here, or 2 tablespoons. And so this butter can be cold straight from the fridge, or it can be at room temperature. We're going to melt it so it really doesn't matter. Next, we're going to add in half a cup of milk. And then last, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of honey. Now we're just going to put this over medium heat and melt until the butter and honey are completely combined with the milk. Once our butter, milk, and honey mixture is completely melted, then we're going to add our flour, sugar, and salt into the bowl with the yeast. So I have 223 grams of all-purpose flour. And then we're going to add 28 grams of cane sugar and half a teaspoon of salt. Next, we're going to add in the melted honey, butter, and milk mixture right on top of the flour. And now if you guys want to use a different kind of milk in this, you can totally do that. I've made this with coconut milk, but I'm sure you could use oat milk and almond milk too. So now we're going to knead this on speed 2 to 4 in our stand mixer for about 5 minutes. We want the dough to look really smooth and have it be very soft. And so if you guys are doing this with your hands, you would just knead this in the mixing bowl, and you could even turn it out onto the counter to knead it as well. You just want to make sure that the dough is very smooth and very soft. So next we're going to transfer the dough to a mixing bowl, and then we're going to just cover it and let it rise. Now we're going to let the dough rise for about 1 to 3 hours or until it's doubled in size. And you guys always want to make sure that you look for visual signs that your dough has doubled in size, because the time can vary depending on your climate. And a little trick for you guys, if you set your dough near a warm place, like if you have your oven on or have your pellet stove on, you can set it near there and it'll rise a little quicker. Once your dough is doubled in size and it's ready, then it's time to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Now it's time to make up our filling. So I have 28 grams of salted butter and 57 grams of light brown sugar in this small mixing bowl. Now you guys can use dark brown sugar if you prefer, but I'm using light brown here specifically because I think it pairs really well with the honey. Then we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of honey. And then of course we're adding in 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now we're just going to mix this up so we have a brown sugar paste. Once you have a nice brown sugar paste and everything's combined, then we're going to set this aside, and now it's time to roll out our dough. So you want to lightly flour your surface, and then we're going to turn the dough out. And just lightly coat your dough in flour. You guys don't need a lot here. Now it's time to spread the brown sugar, butter, and honey filling all over the rolled out dough. Next, you're going to take the dough and roll it into a log. Then you're going to take a sharp knife and we're going to trim off the edges. Now we're going to cut these into 4 rolls. Now you just need a small baking dish, and I have just a 5 by 5 inch baking dish, and we're gonna place the rolls in the dish. Now it's time to bake these at 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes or until golden brown. While the cinnamon rolls are baking, it's time to make the glaze. To make the glaze, add 106 grams of sifted powdered sugar and 1 tablespoon of milk to a medium mixing bowl. Then whisk together until you have a smooth glaze. I like my glaze kind of thick, but if you like it a little bit thinner, then feel free to add just a little bit more milk. Once the cinnamon rolls come out of the oven, let them rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then spread the glaze right on top. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and leave a comment below. And if you want more small batch baking recipes just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join me next time in the kitchen.